Hello, and welcome to Colonist Talk. We're here today to discuss the topic of independence. Today we have a panel of Loyalists and Patriots. I'd like to introduce our panel today. We have Mr. Benjamin Franklin, Miss Mercy Otis Warren, Mr. Samuel Adams. What do we have here? We have Governor Thomas Hutchinson. We have Lord Dunmore. And who do we have over here? Jonathan Boucher. I'm going to allow the panel to tell them a little bit more about themselves. Mr. Franklin.
Hello, I'm Benjamin Franklin. I invented the lightning rod and many inventions. This has been a great year, and I am happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin.
Hi, I'm Mercy Otis Warren. I am happy to be here too.
Hi, I'm Samuel Adams. I was one of the leaders in Patriots.
Hi, I'm Thomas Hutchinson. I'm a governor of Massachusetts, and I'm happy to be here.
I am Lord Dunmore. I am a Loyalist and a governor, and I am happy to be here. Hi, I, Jonathan Boucher, a religious leader, became a preacher that gives sermons on Loyalist beliefs.
So we're here today to discuss independence. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Adams. Should we declare our independence?
Yes indeed we should.
Why do you think we should declare our independence, Mr. Adams?
Because
Mr. Adams, you're stalling. Are you sure you want to have independence?
yeah.
I'm convinced. Same question, Lord Dunmore.
No, because if you go against the king, aren't you going against God?
Very good. Very good point, Lord Dunmore. Are we going against God if we declare our independence?
Yes.
Loyalists say yes. Patriots?
No.
Yes.
Mr. Franklin, do you have something to say on the matter?
We all know how to take care of ourselves. So why does British think we're all on our own, thinking we can't?
Good point, Mr. Franklin. It seems that the British think that they are the parent and you are the child, needing to take care of you all the time. Mr. Boucher, tell us a little more about yourself. What do you think? Should we declare our independence?
No, they should not, because I believe the king's power came from God.
So our loyalists do believe this is a religious matter that we're going to take into effect.
More than you can imagine in Massachusetts. It's rated RGPTL, really good place to live. Puritan and grin. Jeez. The door is always open to Massachusetts. 24/7. Walk to your job, such as mixed farming, craft and shops, shipbuilding, and iron making. Landscape includes trees, mountains, and lots of hills. If you like mild summers, come to Massachusetts. It is self-governed, so come to Massachusetts.
And we're back to Colonist Talk. Mr. Boucher, I hear you have something to say.
Why do you want to declare independence? What action will you take?
Patriots, do you have a response to these questions? What are you going to do? How will you take care of yourself?
We will work hard on all of our things. We will do our best and we will learn how to do it.
How will you learn to do such things, Mr. Franklin? Are you all talk and no action?
We are mostly action and small talk.
So wise, Mr. Franklin. Mr. Adams, what do you believe? How will you take care of yourself? How will you do this with no king, Mr. Adams?
I don't need the king.
Don't need the king?
Yeah, I'd leave him any day.
Strong words from Mr. Samuel Adams. We don't need the king. Mr. Hutchinson, what do you believe about this? We don't need the king.
We need the king because if we don't have the king, then we don't have God.
If you disobey the king, you'll be disobeying God.
Disobey the king, we're disobeying God. No, don't give it to me. A lot of these acts have been going on here lately. Loyalists, what do you think about taxes? Mr. Franklin has something to say. He's upset about these taxes.
It's an outrage. A complete outrage.
Yes, it is. It is an outrage. We don't want to pay these taxes. Mr. Franklin, what was your least favorite tax?
I think my least favorite tax was the stamp acts when they taxed all paper.
All paper. I agree with you, Mr. Franklin. Don't you run a newspaper?
Yes.
And he's in charge of the post office. A lot of paper. Rebuttal from the Loyalists?
How is it an outrage if we're both paying taxes?
We're both paying taxes? But aren't the Loyalists across the sea?
No taxation without representation.
I agree, Miss Warren. I agree. No taxation without... What do you mean by that, Miss Warren?
We don't know why we're paying these taxes.
No representation? Are you not there? Who's speaking for you?
No one.
No one. No one is speaking for them in the Parliament. Loyalists, why do you make all these decisions without any representation from the colonies?
If you need representation, get a king.
Patriots, how shall you get this representation that you long for? What is your plan? What should you do? Mr. Franklin, how do you suggest that we go about getting the representation that you are wanting so bad?
We will protest anything at all.
Anything and everything, apparently, Mr. Franklin. But aren't we all British?
I am now an American because I am no longer a part of British across that sea.
Mr. Franklin.
If you don't want to pay your own taxes, pay your own taxes and come up with your own.
Miss Warren has something to say.
We want our own rights. We don't want to be tossed around.
They want their own rights. Mr. Adams?
Why are they to determine that we are the child and not the parent?
They are not children.
It's not. What? It's not your decision, it's the king's decision.
Are you sure? You are giving us taxes to pay up your debts, and I don't think the Patriots like that.
And who decided on the king? If you don't want any debts, get your own king.
Why would we need a king? We're all about independence.
Independence is our heart. If we have a king, our independence will just be broken.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and be back with more Colonist Talk.
Welcome to Maryland. Come to Maryland where dreams come true, true, true. Now we're going to tell you about the climate in Maryland. Come to Maryland if you like hot summers because the climate in Maryland can get up to 100 degrees.
The climate in Maryland is perfectly suited for growing and selling tobacco.
Now we're going to tell you about the job opportunities in Maryland. To get money in Maryland, there are job opportunities such as growing tobacco, corn, wheat, and fruit trees. The religion in Maryland is mostly Anglican. There is perfect climate in Maryland just for you.
And we're back with Colonist Talk. We're going to take some audience questions for our Loyalist and Patriot panel. You ladies had questions.
Why do we need a king if we're going for independence?
This is actually a question, but if you believe British laws are unfair, why didn't you make a stand a long time ago?
We have. It's just the king hasn't done anything.
The king has made many acts that made you pay taxes. What is your response?
You guys don't have a king, but we do.
We all have a king. We're all British, except for Mr. Franklin, who says he's American. Mr. Adams, can you explain your actions in the Boston Tea Party?
They can't tell us if we can only have tea from their place. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we have time for one more question from the audience. One more question.
Why do we have to go against God if we're going against the king? The king's power came from God, so it's disobeying God.
Are you sure that's true? Maybe the king's just in the way.
In the way of what, Mr. Adams?
In the way of God. Are you sure that that's what God wanted?
Are we sure that's what God wanted?
He's not in the way of God.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time here on Colonist Talk. So I'm going to let the panel give their final thoughts to this question. Should we declare independence? Should we declare independence? We'll just go down the line here. I'll start with you, Mr. Franklin. Should we declare independence?
Independence is for everyone.
We don't want to be bossed around. We are our own people. We may not be children, and that's why we need independence.
Could you ask the question again? Should we declare independence?
No!
Thank you for joining us on Colonist Talk. I'm your host, Johnny Tremaine. Good night.